What if I told you there are vegetables, more nutritious, more delicious, that climb fast, deliver a massive harvest, and need minimum maintenance? Most people think growing your own vegetables requires a big yard, special tools, or hours of effort. So every year they spend hundreds of dollars at the grocery store and still never get what they're actually paying for. But here's the good news. You don't need any of it. By simply planting these 9 vertical climbing vegetables on your wall, your fence, or any small space you have, you can get fresh vegetables whenever you need them. No big yard, no complicated setup, and no more overpaying. They climb on their own, they grow fast, and they keep delivering all season long. Stick around, because number 8 is so heavy that it hangs watermelon-sized fruits straight off your wall, and number 9 is so low maintenance you plant it once and it comes back every single year on its own. If you find this helpful, hit subscribe so you never miss tips like these. So, let's get started. Number 1. Malabar spinach. If you want a climber that takes over your wall and keeps delivering fresh greens from peak summer to first frost, Malabar spinach is where this list begins. And the effort it asks from you? Minimum. Once it finds its feet, this plant essentially runs itself. Start from seed directly in warm soil once temperatures are reliably above 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and it takes off fast. What makes it genuinely special is the way it handles heat. Regular spinach collapses the moment summer heat arrives. It bolts, turns bitter, and it's done. Malabar spinach does the exact opposite. The hotter it gets, the harder it works. While your regular spinach is giving up in July, this plant is climbing your wall and producing heavily week after week without asking much in return. Malabar spinach comes in 2 varieties: Bacella alba with green stems and Bacella rubra with striking purple-red stems that look genuinely beautiful climbing up a fence or wall. Both produce the same way, both taste the same. The red variety just happens to look like you planned your garden with intention. The leaves are rich in vitamins A and C, calcium and iron. Younger leaves are mild with a slight earthy note, perfect for stir-fries and soups. Older leaves develop more texture and hold up beautifully in cooked dishes. As it thrives in temperatures above 65 degrees Fahrenheit, it becomes a natural fit for US and UK summers. Full sun, consistent watering once or twice a week, and a wall or trellis to climb. That's genuinely all it needs. The one mistake most people make? Planting too early in cool soil. The ground needs to be genuinely warm before this plant goes in. Get the timing right and it takes off fast, climbing, producing, and turning any wall, fence, or balcony into a living green harvest that keeps giving all season long. Number 2. Winged bean. Winged bean, also known as Sophocarpus tetragonalobus, is one of the very few vegetables on Earth where every single part is edible. Pods, seeds, leaves, flowers, and even the tuberous roots underground. All of it goes straight to your plate, nothing wasted. And while it's feeding you, it's quietly feeding your soil too. It fixes nitrogen directly into the ground as it grows, building its own nutrient supply without any help from you. No heavy feeding, no expensive fertilizers, no constant attention. Plant the seeds at the base of a wall, fence, or trellis, and this plant does the rest. It sends out strong, twining vines that wrap themselves around any support they can find, climbing 10 to 12 feet with minimal effort. A simple trellis, a fence line, or even a balcony railing is enough. Once it starts climbing, it fills vertical space fast, turning a bare wall into a dense, productive green cover that keeps growing and producing at the same time. The plant naturally grows best in warm and humid conditions. Temperatures between 65 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit give it exactly what it needs, and anything below that, it struggles. That's the one mistake growers make, planting it without giving it sufficient warmth. Rushed into cool conditions, it stalls completely. Given proper warmth, it climbs fast and produces heavily. Zones 9 and above are ideal, though it can be grown as an annual further north in a warm summer. What makes it truly special is how the harvest never feels finished. Something new to pick almost every week. Pods when young, seeds when mature, roots at the end of the season. It turns your whole growing season into a continuous foraging experience. Just make sure everything is properly cooked before eating. Raw winged bean contains natural compounds that need heat to neutralize. One plant, 6 edible parts, 0 parts wasted. Number 3. Bitter melon. Bitter melon is not the most obvious choice, but once you understand what it delivers, it earns its place on this list without question. For centuries, it has been used as a medicinal vegetable across Asia and the Caribbean, particularly valued for its role in supporting blood sugar levels. But the real story here is what happens on your wall. It climbs 10 to 15 feet, sending out strong vines that cover a fence, trellis, or wall with dense foliage, and hanging from those vines are the distinctive warty fruits that keep coming as long as you keep picking. And that is the key to getting the most out of this plant. Harvest young, harvest often. The more you pick, the more it produces. Leave the fruits too long and they turn yellow, split open, and the plant slows down. Stay on top of the harvest, and this climber becomes one of the most continuously productive plants on this entire list. It handles heat and drought in a way that very few climbing vegetables can. Once established, it is remarkably self-sufficient. Full sun, temperatures between 75 degrees Fahrenheit and 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and it asks very little from you in return. In Asian cooking, it goes into stir-fries, soups, and braised dishes. In Caribbean cooking, it shows up in sides and stews. Both cuisines figured out the same thing centuries apart. Cook it right, and it's genuinely delicious. Bonus tip: if your vine is climbing but not producing fruit, check your watering. Bitter melon is drought tolerant, but during flowering, it needs consistent moisture to set fruit properly. A dry spell at the wrong moment, and the flowers drop before fruits even form. Water regularly during flowering and watch the production difference. Number 4. Chayote. Meet chayote, also called vegetable pear, Sechium edule. And once you see one, the name makes complete sense. It's pear-shaped, light green, smooth-skinned, and it tastes like a cross between cucumber and zucchini, mild enough to go into almost anything. But here's the number that surprises everyone. One single chayote plant in a good season can produce between 100 and 300 fruits. It climbs over 20 feet, which means it will easily take over a fence, a wall, a balcony, or anything else you point it at. The entire plant is edible, young shoots, leaves, and fruit, and in warm climates it's perennial, meaning you plant it once and it comes back year after year. The plant prefers temperature between 65 degrees Fahrenheit to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it a strong performer across the US and a solid summer grower in the UK with a sheltered spot. Planting chayote is simple. The fruit is the seed. Do not open it. Take the whole fruit, place it in warm soil with the stem end facing slightly upward, and half bury it. New growth will emerge directly from the fruit within weeks. The mistake most people make is separating the inner seed. That almost never sprouts on its own. From salads to soups, roasted dishes to stews, and yes, even sweet recipes, where its mild flavor picks up sugar beautifully, chayote is one of the most flexible vegetables on this list. Number 5. Cherokee Trail of Tears bean. Unlike chayote, which overwhelms you with volume, this bean earns its place differently, through resilience. It climbs 6 to 8 feet, which makes it one of the more compact climbers on this list. It produces in difficult conditions, poor soil, inconsistent rainfall, less than ideal seasons. Where other beans would struggle, this one keeps going. Direct sow seeds at the base of a fence, trellis, or any wall with a little support, and it takes care of the rest. No complicated setup, no heavy feeding, consistent moisture while it establishes, and then it manages largely on its own. What sets it apart visually is something most climbing beans simply don't offer. As it rises along a fence or trellis, the vines stay neat and controlled. 6 to 8 feet of steady upward growth that never overwhelms the space around it. And when those deep purple pods start appearing against the green foliage, the whole plant transforms into something that looks deliberately decorative. Most people don't expect a bean plant to be this beautiful. This one is. The pods start green and turn a deep, striking purple as they mature. Dried beans are jet black, visually unlike anything most gardeners have seen from their own garden. As snap beans, they're tender and flavorful, eaten young straight from the vine. As dried beans, they go into soups and slow-cooked dishes, developing a rich, earthy depth that store-bought beans simply don't have. One thing worth noting, always cook these beans thoroughly. Number 6. Cowpea. Cowpea, also known as black-eyed pea, southern pea, or field pea, stands out for its remarkably deep taproot. When every other climbing vegetable slows down or stops, cowpea keeps producing. It climbs 6 to 8 feet and fixes nitrogen into your soil, just like the winged bean. But where the winged bean needs warmth and humidity, cowpea does it in heat and drought. Two different plants solving the same soil problem under completely different conditions. As a warm season grower, it performs exceptionally well across the southern U.S. and can be grown as a summer annual across the UK and northern U.S. One mistake that most people make is planting in cool soil. Plant too early and it just rots in the ground. Get the timing right though, and this plant rewards you for it. Once planted in warm soil, it establishes fast, climbs steadily, and stays lush and productive all season long. The vines keep pushing upward, the foliage stays dense, and the harvest keeps coming without asking much from you in return. Harvest young as snap beans for a tender, fresh eating experience. Let them mature for fresh peas. Let them dry completely on the vine for protein-rich dried peas that store for months. One simple rule with cowpea: cook before you eat. Raw beans from this plant should never go directly to your plate. Number 7. Loofah. Most people know loofah as that natural sponge sitting in bathrooms and kitchens. What they do not know is that the same plant, the same fruit, is also a vegetable, and it grows right on your wall. It climbs 15 feet or more, covering a fence, trellis, or wall with dense foliage and large, dramatic yellow flowers that make the whole structure look deliberately designed. Full sun, consistent watering while establishing, and after that, it largely takes care of itself. Wait until the temperature is consistently above 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Now sow seeds directly into warm soil at the base of your wall or fence. Zones 7 and above across the U.S. are ideal for this plant. Once it starts growing, guide the young vines toward a trellis or any vertical support, and from that point, it finds its own way up. The vines move fast once they get going, and the plant needs very little from you to keep climbing and producing. Within 60 to 70 days, the first fruits are ready to harvest as a vegetable. At this stage, they are tender and mild, similar in texture to zucchini, used in stir-fries and soups, and genuinely delicious prepared simply with a little oil and seasoning. Pick them young, pick them often, and the vine keeps producing. For the next 30 to 40 days, leave those same fruits on the vine, and the transformation begins. The flesh dries out completely, the outer skin hardens and turns brown, and what remains inside is a fully formed, fibrous, natural sponge. Same plant, same fruit, just a little more time. Number 8. Malabar gourd. Malabar gourd, also called fig leaf gourd, climbs 30 to 40 feet and produces watermelon-sized fruits. Unlike most vegetables on this list that need high heat to perform, this one actually thrives in moderate temperatures. Plant seeds straight into warm soil at the base of a strong wall or fence. This plant grows fast, spreads wide, and gets heavy, so build a sturdy support structure before planting, not after. As it climbs, the large fig-shaped leaves create dense coverage that fills the entire vertical space. By midsummer, the thick vines and broad foliage turn any wall or fence into a solid green structure.
And hanging from those vines, large, pale green, watermelon-sized fruits that keep forming as the season goes on. Preparing it is straightforward. Young fruits can be sliced and added to soups and stews, just like summer squash. Mature fruits have a firmer flesh. Scoop out the seeds, cube it, and cook low and slow. It absorbs flavors beautifully and becomes genuinely satisfying in a hearty winter stew. Pro tip: do not let the fruits touch the ground as they develop. Hang them freely from the vine. Fruits that rest on soil can rot before they fully mature.
Number 9. Nasturtium. Finally, the one that surprises everyone, because nasturtium is the plant most people think of as a flower. Bright orange, red, and yellow blooms tumbling over garden walls and hanging baskets. Pretty, cheerful, decorative. What most people don't realize, every single part of it is edible, and it might be the easiest, most low-maintenance plant on this entire list. Nasturtium, Tropalium majus, climbs and trails 6 to 10 feet. It grows in poor soil. It actually prefers poor soil. Rich soil pushes it toward leaves and away from flowers and flavor. It needs minimal watering once established. It self-seeds prolifically, meaning you plant it once, it comes back year after year with zero effort on your part. The flowers have a peppery, slightly spicy flavor that is unlike anything else in a garden. They go into salads whole, they garnish plates beautifully, and they can be stuffed with soft cheese for an appetizer that looks like it came from a restaurant kitchen. The leaves are edible too. Same peppery flavor, slightly more intense. And the seed pods, when harvested young and pickled in vinegar, taste remarkably like capers. A homegrown caper substitute from a plant that grows itself. Temperature, 55 degrees Fahrenheit to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. This plant actually prefers cooler conditions, which makes it a perfect performer in the UK and the northern US, where some of the other heat-loving plants on this list can struggle. In fact, where Malabar spinach takes off in summer heat, nasturtium peaks in the cool seasons of spring and early autumn. Think of it this way: when the heat-loving climbers at the start of this list are winding down as temperatures drop, nasturtium picks up. Between the two, you have fresh harvests almost year-round. No complicated setup, no special soil, no feeding schedule. Plant it, leave it, harvest it, flowers, leaves, and seed pods, all season long.